Good afternoon, everyone. Stephen here from Vanguard Tactics. I hope you guys are doing well. So it's day 27 of the Lockdown Live series, and if you're interested in Warhammer 40k, then you are in the right place. I am here to answer all of your questions. And yeah, for the last 27 days, I've gone live every single day at 6 o'clock, and I'm going to continue to do so every day whilst we are in this lockdown period. That was my promise to you, that I was originally going to do 21 days, but you guys asked for it. You wanted me to stay turning up every day, so you asked for it, so you're going to get it. Okay, right. That's also, please let me know. Otherwise, we are going to dry up of content, no doubt. Or we could, ask me anything like, do you want me to talk about a specific faction today? What would you like me to talk about? Again, send in your suggestions. All you need to do, if you're listening back to this, is come on live and just say, hey, Steve, we've got a really good topic for you. Chat about this. And then I'll be like, cool. I might do that today or tomorrow and all that good stuff. So first of all, hey to everyone in the chat, seeing some familiar names. Simone, I've got your email. Thank you very much for that. I haven't had time to email you back just yet, but I will hopefully by the end of today or tomorrow. So appreciate you getting in contact. I really do. Now, what I've been up to today, well, I'll share life. It's their birthday today. It is my girlfriend Amy's birthday. And unfortunately, I can't see her. So that kind of sucks a bit. I can't see her, and I haven't seen her for a while now. It's been like well over a month. So yeah, that's tough. But the other person is also my sister. So yeah, it's also my sister Laura's birthday today as well. So that's good. So yeah, what are the chances of that? Your girlfriend and your sister's birthday on the same day, but there we go. And I think it sort of is a bit of an odd time at the moment. So literally the thing that I can take for granted is that I've got Amy in my life, and although I can't see her, obviously we can celebrate her birthday properly when this is all over, no doubt. So yeah, I think that's something still to be extremely pleased and grateful for. What else I've been up to today? I've been editing this video that is taking me forever, still trying to get all the, honestly, been teaching myself how to like color grade, okay? And you wouldn't think that that's very difficult. Turns out it is. But anyway, I'm doing that. I'm also learning how to do some animation to make sure the video is engaging. Yeah. What else have I been doing today? Went for my walk. That's important. Obviously, talking to Amy and how my sister did a bit of a party here as well. And then also today, I went out to meet the first responders here in the UK that get sent out to see how this personal protective equipment, that Foreground, who are a publishing company that basically who makes some of the most amazing terrain that is a great addition to kind of like the 40k environment, so they can be used in conjunction with one another. They do some really cool products and yeah, just really sort of enhances that experience of the game a little bit. So those guys have actually, because their place is shut down for COVID-19, they are volunteering their time in conjunction with Bath University, who are making protective equipment. So we're talking like full face visors and then glasses for people that can literally dispose of that equipment. And I was doing some research today, and there was some really interesting stats. And do you know what I think is so positive? That basically there's people out there who are trying to do absolutely everything that they can to get life back to normal. And, I think no matter what you're doing, guys, you can make some sort of contribution, whether it's number one, staying at home, number two, just reaching out to people in your local community that may need your help, that may be vulnerable, and obviously number three, taking care of any loved ones and things that may need that. And then four, if you have got the potential, the equipment, whatever it might be, to contribute in a slightly different way, whether that's making protective equipment for people in care homes or maybe people that need that sort of support, then I think it's fantastic to see everyone coming together and contributing. So yeah, all good. My sort, I suppose for me, it's a case of, can I capture some of this? Can I share it with you guys? Can I maybe inspire some other people to do the same? And it's so easy to make some of this equipment. And I think it would be fantastic if people, really, like we've got stories of women in their, teaching their children textiles to make scrubs for, obviously nurses and people that are going to, care homes, whatever it might be, that need that. And I think that is amazing, right? Like that is school lessons, like textiles and graphic design and product design being put into some real world experience to see it firsthand. They're making protective clothing out of old duvet covers and all that stuff. And it's great. It's really, really good. And, with literally an A3 piece of acetate, you can cut that up, put equipment. So if you were looking after somebody that was sick with coronavirus in your house, and they were, are ill and they're wearing it, if they sneezed or something like that, then fantastic. It's going to, help stop all those. It's not going to stop it, but necessarily, but maybe reduce the risk. And that's what protective equipment is about. But what I learned from the guys today is it's all about changing habits and changing human behavior, which is exactly what I teach with fitness and nutrition. There is no perfect diet. There's not one diet that works, above better than anywhere else, any other. There's not any foods that you shouldn't eat, maybe unless it's poisonous or you've got an allergy to it. But those aside, there's not one food that you shouldn't eat. And the most important thing that leads to great results is behavior. Okay, behavior change is at the heart of absolutely everything that we do. And, tackling coronavirus is one of those things. So I was doing these interviews today and everyone is by default, social distancing, 2 meters apart. It was a nightmare to film, I'm not going to lie, trying to get everyone in shot. And the audio might be a bit ropey, but look, I'm working with the conditions I've got here. So yeah, and one of the other things is, if you're using disposable gloves, okay? If you're, not washing your hands frequently, if you're not washing your hands in the right way, if you're, touching your face all the time because you've got protective equipment on and you haven't put your protective equipment on in the right way, then again, it's no use to it. So yeah, guys, do your homework. And I've been looking at some good research, and there are some, like, one of the places I've been looking at to get some of my research from is where's my link gone? And because I found this quite interesting, as I was obviously looking at all this stuff today, and there were some really interesting stories as well, with some awful stories as well about obviously coronavirus. So I tried to stay away from that and focused on the positives. But there are some really good sites out there, and I don't want to pronounce this one wrong, so I'm going to see if I can bring up the history. So I was looking at this one, the European Centre for Disease Prevention and Control, and it sounds pretty intense, but actually they've got some really good infographics on how to wash your hands, how to put on your face mask. That is great. Positive attitudes to keep everyone going. So anyway, that's my non-40K thing that I've been up to today. I literally got back like 30 minutes ago, grabbed some food, and then sat down to speak to you guys. So let's go through your questions. Genestealer Cult on the menu for tomorrow, because I want to do some research first. It's been a while since I really looked at Genestealer Cult, although I have been working on my models, my Genestealer Cult models. I've been doing some painting, so I can show you that if you're interested in seeing what they're coming out like at the moment. And it was a while ago since I did my first ever masterclass with a good friend of mine, and sadly isn't with us anymore, but Jeff Robinson. And that was an incredible interview that we did last year. So that is actually on this YouTube channel somewhere. You can find that, I'm sure. Just search for Genestealer Cult Masterclass or on the Vanguard Tactics page. You'll find it. It was a really, really good. And Jeff was an exceptional bloke. And yeah, it was an honor to get to meet him and, and get to know him as well. So yeah, it's been a while since I kind of looked in that detail into it when I was making cheat sheets for it and all that stuff. But unfortunately, some of that obviously has changed and that's out of date now. Okay, right. So I wish I had a drink because my throat is very dry now. Okay. Wayne's going to start calling me Lockdown Steve. Okay. I mean, we don't want that to stick though. Okay. I don't want people thinking I'm constantly in lockdown. I do want to get out of this at one point. So Tobias has said, question about sisters. What are the 3 builds you mentioned in the other videos? So 3 builds for sisters are numero uno, 3 exorcists, and the list basically revolving around exorcists. Okay, so it looks around whether it's 3 exorcists, 3 units of repentia with multi-melters, but yeah, basically some sort of like kill their trait, and also the Imagifier as well. The other build is Sister Horde, and I haven't seen this in play yet, but there's a couple of different ways you could play Sister Horde, and we're talking like massive units of sisters, literally where they ignore morale, where they're ignoring -1 AP, whatever it might be, just spreading out the board, zone denial, kill denial, and just a slog to get through them all. But they probably won't be that potent. So yes, they're very durable. You're kind of like trading off with all lists, and you'll see when I cover this video, equal and opposite reaction. So if you increase your durability, you may be decreasing your damage output, for example. Okay, so whatever that might be. And then the third way to play sisters is the way that I play sisters, which is very combat heavy, very melee focused, and I think generally that's probably the best way to run them. It's, yeah, in my personal view, a very fun way to play them, but it essentially revolves around some extremely hard-hitting units. And actually, list of the week this week on the mentorship course is my sisters list, and I break down how it plays and how you use it. And that will be going up tomorrow in the mentorship, and then it will be up for you guys that are on that course and students of the program to then like decipher how you're going to beat it. Okay, so yeah, that's all up on the and I really should start putting some emails out as well about some of this stuff, but I just haven't had time. I've been working 12-hour days at the moment trying to do all this, along with then my coaching business as well, because obviously a coronavirus, there's a lot of uncertainty out there, and when people are uncertain about things, they look to their coach to help basically reset them and keep them on the straight and narrow, and make sure their priorities are in the right place, basically. So yeah, I've been incredibly busy with this, and now with this other little project on top of that as well, to do what I can for the PPE side of things. So yeah, they're the 3 ways to play sisters. Anyway, but really nice question, love that. So Genestealer Cult, we're going to cover that tomorrow, but I love that. I'll keep a note of that topic for tomorrow. So guys, yeah, tomorrow we're going to be talking about that. Maybe we even look at NIDS then as well, because they've got a really good win rate at the moment, and I think NIDS could be on the way up. So Blood Angels against a list with a ton of Possessed and the Mirror. Also, how would you play against a list that has a good mix of shooting and combat? Well, a good list with shooting and combat is not a problem, because it doesn't have enough shooting to really pose a threat to you, and it doesn't really hit you hard enough back. So like the Raven Guard matchup is a prime example of that. Yeah, Grey Knights are a prime example of that. I mean, in my experience, I've done very well in those matchups, okay? Because typically when they get into combat where they think they want to be, you kind of do it better, and they don't have the guns to really put down much of a threat like Tau does. Tau is a problem. So me and Mark today were going through the new masterclass series that we're going to put together, which is going to be part of the mentorship program, which is going to be free for those guys, but is also going to be a separate individual product that we're going to have on the Vanguard Tactics website. So if you want to learn absolutely everything there is to know about Blood Angels, I'm going to cover it in that little mini series. But obviously, if you're on the mentorship program, you're going to get full access to that anyway, obviously once the free trial is over. So there's going to be some really cool stuff for that. And I'm covering all this stuff. And one of the things that I talk about in that is the triple threat. And just to give, without giving too much away at this point, but the triple threat is where you're really looking at things and what's going to hurt you most to decide how then you can shape your list to try and counter that, to know whether you're going to be strong or weak in certain matchups, and then maybe that dictates your play testing. So all good stuff. So yeah, that's going to be that. But how do you play against the possessed bomb? This was actually something I covered in my Art of War interview as well, which was a fantastic interview I did with the guys over at Art of War, with a good friend Nick Melavati from that coaching program, and then all twice ability in that matchup in the heroic intervention to get rid of the possessed bomb, so it can't really do much damage back to you. So that's kind of key, really. But yeah, and making sure your positioning's on point with where you're getting your charges in from. Stephen Carpenter, how you doing, mate? Jack said, how does Goblin Gaming thing work? Do they ship to the Netherlands? I believe they do. They are currently closed at the moment, but we'll be back up. And basically, there is a link below. And full disclosure, if you use that link, you get the discount that obviously Goblin Gaming provide us. And also, I get a small kickback for basically you using that link, is essentially how it works. It's called I'm an affiliate of theirs, and that's kind of how those. So I'd like to be honest and say, look, if you spent X amount, I would get a small percentage of what you spent, basically. And it's essentially why they do it is because companies would rather work and monetary reward their affiliates than they would just external advertisement, either through Facebook or whatever it is like that. That actually helps me, for example, getting this new camera I bought, so the quality of the videos are much better rather than just using the webcam. Yeah, all that sort of stuff is just extremely helpful. So yeah, you don't have to use it. Obviously, if you do, it's very much appreciated. All right. So what else have we got here? Hello from Phoenix, Arizona. How you doing? I don't think we've had someone from Phoenix yet, so welcome to the channel. Yeah, welcome. David Irving, that's commitment. Yeah, I think, I'm not sure what you, whether that was engaged. I mean, I'm way behind on the comments. I need to really speed up a bit, so I'll try and whiz through to get to the end. Hey, Stevie, that's a new one. Talk about tournament experiences. What would you like to know? What would you like to know? Tournament experiences. What would you like to know? Expensive month, yeah, with my girlfriend and my sister's birthday. Although that being said, I haven't got them anything yet because of coronavirus, so we're going to wait till it's over. Joanna Anderson, hey, topic suggestion: the fundamentals of playing a good horde gunline melee list. How to identify threats and such. Okay, I mean, that's quite a big topic because each of those could be their own different video, which maybe we do in the future. So yeah, maybe I could go over the concept of a gun line, how it works, how you use it, and maybe share some experiences from that way. But I like that. Yeah, cool. Hi, Steve. Andy from Dorset. How you doing, mate? First episode live. Keep it going, mate. Any chance of your granite paint recipe and list? Yes. All that is going to be coming soon. I've got the recipe for you. I've got the list. I've got the video. I've got the tips. I've got it all coming. It just needs to be edited. I need more time. I was even tempted to do an all-nighter tonight to see how much editing I could do. But yeah, it's all to come. So will come, hopefully. But it is all to come. And I'm going to give all that away. So what else have we got here? What units would you take in a competitive Necron army and why? What would I take? 3. I don't know if I like the flyers, to be honest. I think they're a bit of a one-trick pony. I like destroyers. I think destroyers add something really nice. Wraiths are extremely durable as well. So big units. Tomb Blades. Do you know what? Every time I've played against Tomb Blades, they've been the absolute thorn in my side. So I'd probably mass spam them. Like, I don't know what the biggest squad size is, but I just take all of them. All the Tomb Blades, destroyers, super quick army, grab the board, just constantly apply firepower down, pick where you want to go, react to your opponent, you're going there, cool, round there, pick that fight, win that one. Next up, cool, hit that one hard, kill me, or I'm going to start to regenerate. And that's what I would do. Massive, massive units. Yeah. Question here, does Psychic Fortress 4+ to ignore mortal wounds from psychic powers stack with Feel No Pain? Not normally, unless it specifically says otherwise. Typically, you have one or the other. How we doing? Richard Sawyer, how you doing? Right, so hello. If my Salamander's friend drops down a drop pod at 9.5 inches away from my unit, as far as I'm aware, cannot be closer than 9 inches, or they have to be over 9 inches away. So being 9.5 away, well, and also you've got to, you decide on the doors up or the doors down. So let's say the doors are up. Let's just keep it a bit simpler. The base is 32 mils. So you basically need that. Even if the base is literally here, then the base of the model needs to be like there. So you've got your base of your model, the base there, and then it needs to come up to 9 or 9.1 inches away from that base, okay? Now, essentially what can happen is you can get out of that transport 3 inches and then also move as well. So, yeah. So where are we else at here? Jose, Infiltrator Squad with Commands Ray, reroll all ones. If Lieutenant and Captain are anyone on the table, how many of these squads should I run? Squads of 10 or 5 or suggestions? So that is a nice ability that they get. However, in my opinion, it is a red herring, which basically means it is not worth building around. Infiltrators have a very unique role that you pay the points for, and that is you cannot deploy with, you can't come in from reserves within 12 inches, okay? So that is the rule that you are paying for. Everything else is arbitrary, okay? So you need to look at your list and think, do I need to prevent units coming in from reserve, basically? If the answer is no, then you don't take infiltrators unless you love the models and you have to have them. Then that's different ball game, right? That's different. Like, as I said, you do you, play the game how you want, use the models you want to use. I'm all good for that. If we're talking competitively, then in sort of theory crafting some of this stuff, yeah. Do you need them? No. Well, then you don't take them, okay? If you need them, yes, then how much do you need? How much of your army do you need to fend off? So are you going to stack your deployment to one side because then you don't need as much? Are you going to hunker down in the middle because then, yeah, you're going to need a bit more to protect all flanks? How much of a risk is a risk? And then how much then, if you then take it, do you sacrifice elsewhere in your list? And then is that a worthy trade? Okay. But typically, maybe 2 units of 5 can pretty much protect an entire gun line. If you have a combat-based army, I don't think you want infiltrators in your list. I don't take them in Blood Angels, and the reason for that is I do not care in the slightest if my opponent wants to bring their army 9 inches away from me. Yeah, because I want to get nice and close. I want to bring them in for a nice little hug, and then they can meet the chainswords. Okay, I want to get real close and personal. Yeah. I don't want to be like, no, stay away, right? No. It's a bit like going to a bar, right? And, trying to meet a girl or partner or whatever, you don't want to be like, no, go away. And you want to get stuck in, you want to get close and personal, yeah? There we have it. So, where are we at now? So hopefully that helps and makes sense. So just critically analyze why you have them in your list. So Nick has said, trying to make a competitive Blood Angels list with some Vanguard units in. What's your favorite Phobos unit in the Blood Angels Codex? Thank you for your tour job. Your GT victory was a motivation for me. Not a problem. And I think people really like the sort of tour vlogs, and I'll keep doing those if people like them because no one else does them. It's unique to me, and it'll be like a Vanguard Tactics thing that is great. As you guys know, I always try and be very different with the content that I provide to you guys. Like my battle analysis are very different to, you know, what, for example, Tabletop Tactics do, or Hellstorm Wargaming. They're all very different, which is great, because then it just leads to like potential to collaborate and all that kind of stuff in the future, which is why those guys are good friends of mine. And I love supporting their channel as well. And I love watching their content because it's all different, right? So anyway, I'll keep doing the vlogs. Now, you've kind of got two questions there. The Vanguard unit, I think, are great. I've got unit of Vanguard vets in my my army now. I think they're wonderful. I took out the Smash Captain. I put them in because I thought they were a great replacement. My favourite Phobos unit, without a shadow of a doubt, for Blood Angels, is in Curses. They do a scout job, which is protect your characters, but they just do it much better. I used to run 3 units of 5 of them and 3 units of 5 scouts. If I was to just run 1 battalion, I'd probably just run 3 units of Incurses, 5-man unit, none of the mortal wound thingies, just forward pressure unit, bubble your characters up, and spot on, great little unit. I don't also move this, bear with, sorry, there we go. That's some weird, wait a minute, what's going on? Yeah, so I'd probably take those Inceptor guys if I was to take anyone, okay? I know they're not Phobos though. Andy, listening to Almost Pro Gaming today, and he had Dark Angels as a top tier army, rated about 6th strongest. I was quite surprised. What are your thoughts? Who's playing them? Yeah? You'll be into, I think you'll find my review of what army you should play or you should pick quite interesting, because as you guys know, I try and keep a very balanced approach. I think you can't really just go, this list is the strongest, this one's the next one, because it's so subjective of the person. It's so dependent on the skill level of the player as well. How long have they been using that list for? Have they just are they just chasing the meta? Have they got reps in with that list? Is it just good on paper? Is it a predictable list that they good? Next minute it's not. Is that WTC missions? Is it ITC missions? Is it chapter approved missions? What's the terrain like at that? What's their meta even look like? You know, what sort of standard of the game do they play in? I've played in some tournaments where the standard's okay, and I've played in the same amount of player tournament, but the standard has been ridiculous, right? So in that, I've been quite fortunate enough to travel around a lot. So, in the UK, is some of the events I go to, the standard is ridiculous because of the amount of great players that are here in the UK, and it's a small country, right? And there's not many big tournaments. So you could go to a 60-man tournament and the entire England team are there, the entire Scottish, Welsh team are there, plus literally 3 other teams that could also play, or three other players amount of, because like the England team's got like 3 squads, by the way. So it's got its main tier, and then it's got its training teams. They'll all be there, right? If you go 3-2, you've done well. You really have it, that sort of standard. So, anyway. So yeah, it's all relative, I think, to so many different factors. Yeah. Excuse me, and definitely to bring a drink to these, because I do talk a lot, but then I suppose if I didn't, it'd be a bit weird, right? Because you'd be like just looking at me, looking at you, and it'd be awkward, wouldn't it? Can you imagine that? Just not talking. Right, so Rizal, yes, please do talk about pure NIDS soon, as many of us don't use Genestealer Cult, and NIDS are a massive faction and need a brainstorming. Yep, cool. Brian said, Box, let's get a game in today. I can't, mate. I'm editing, okay? I got to edit this video, I got people in the chat asking for the Grainite recipe, and I haven't even edited that video yet. Gaming's got to wait. I've got to put the priority first, unless it's sneaking a game of COD in, capturing the flag, maybe 20 minutes of that, who knows, but got to edit. That's what I've got to do. So Stephen said, as ones become 2s. Right, so Austin, do you think it's wise to avoid using Forgeworld units in fear, oh no, this is all moved, in fear of relying on them and them going away, since they are about to undergo a supposed rework. Okay, here is my thoughts on this. Typically, I don't, there have been some units in the games which have notoriously been overpowered for their points, okay? And I would advise anyone to just, I mean, yes, you can throw a smattering of this in and that in, you know, yeah, cool. If it's a good unit, like let's take the Chaplain Dread, for example, or the Leviathan. It's a great unit, stick him in, he'll probably do something for you. Does that improve your skill set as a player by having it? Yeah. Are there other options that you could take? Are you using that unit? And you can only be honest with yourself, because I don't know the unit you're talking about. And there are some Forgeworld units that are underpowered, right? In my opinion, that aren't amazing, but I love the models, right? So I would say Shadow Spectres fall into that category. Beautiful model. Like, it was one of the models that got me into playing Eldar, was the Shadow Spectres. I couldn't even buy them at the time, but I just loved those models. I thought they were incredible. And yeah, if you want to build an army around Shadow Spectres, great. But yeah, like, they're not like an OP unit, okay? Whereas something like the Leviathan is, at the moment, pretty OP. He's so good at what he does. Yeah, I don't know. Just plug him one in because you can. What other options have you got? Because what can often happen is, and I was having this conversation with Mark earlier today, he said to me that when we recorded our podcast the other day on the Space Wolves, he's never heard anyone say to him before, my ethos of relics and warlord traits. I have the ethos in relic, and my ethos behind all of that is not being selfish to that character, okay? Because you can buff up a character to the nines. And personally, I don't play that way, okay? And play the game however you want to play, but I prefer to buff my army, and I don't like my army to be, I don't like my characters to be selfish. I like them to, you know, let the guys at the front do the work. And Mark used the analogy, your army and your units are the nail that you need to drive a hole into there, and the characters with the relics, the warlord traits, the powers are like the hammer that's going to apply more force to get that nail into the wall, okay? Or create that hole that we need to achieve. So he said to me, without you saying that to me, he would have just constantly gone for those selfish relics because that's the way he's been inclined, the way he's been programmed to use it. The same thing goes for the Smash Captain. People are programmed to use them in a pure Blood Angel list, and they don't really, in my opinion, I don't think they're worth it in a pure Blood Angel list. I think there's better options. Okay, now that unit you're plugging in, and if you are worried there's going to be a rework, then yeah, like, you'd be silly to, right? You'd be silly to go out and buy 3 of them if you think, oh yeah, they're great now. If you're suspecting they're going to do a rework. Now, I can't confirm or deny that. I don't know either way. But if you're worried about it, then don't do it, okay? Because you're running that risk, right? Unless you do it and thinking, oh, well, I'll sell them on whatever, secondhand, blah, blah. You know, take the risk. Like I said, if you love the unit and you've got to have it in your army, that's very different to, it's great, I need to have it on the table because it's going to help me win. Nah. Get good. Get good with something else. Okay. And I think you'll get more reward out of that as well. Okay, here we go. So could I give you a challenge and try and make a Black Legion competitive? I mean, I'll be honest, I don't have the time at the moment to make any like external lists or whatever that's kind of outside the mentorship program. Maybe what we could do one live is, you know, go through how I would build a list. But again, I've got to have that inspiration to play it. So yeah, and maybe, but maybe not Black Legion because I don't have that love for them. It's not my bag. Yeah, and let's be honest, right? You're asking me let's think about this. To build a list and an army that destroyed my Primarch, yeah? And I'm not going to portray... It's just showing off my exceptional lore knowledge. I think I got that right. I'm probably wrong, and I'll probably be absolutely slated in the chat now. No, Steve, that didn't happen. It wasn't Black Legion. It was someone else. And I'll be like, okay, yeah, you're right. I got it wrong. But I think I'm right. Let me know in the chat. Was I right with what I just said? You notice I stopped there because anymore, and I'm just not a clue. Yeah. I tried reading... I don't read, I listen to audiobooks, but I tried listening to one of the Black Library books, and I kind of just got a bit lost with it. It was so long, but yeah, Fear to Tread, was it? Something like that. Something about the Blood Angels. I tried it, but yeah, I just felt like the Dante one, a bit shorter. Got, you know, I thought it was a quality book, the Dante book, and I can resonate with the characters a lot more. And I think maybe because I jumped in on that book, I wasn't sure who was who. And you're keeping well. Been practicing against myself with the Wraith Host list. Boom! Love it. Love Wraith Hosts. Love it. More for fluffy tournaments and fun games. It's not competitive. Hey, it can be. Wraith Blades are no joke. Wraith Blade and Axes, mate, with +3 to their charge, coming in from Deep Strike with like all the buffs and shenanigans, mate. Ooh, they ain't going anywhere. Literally, I played in an RTT, this was pre-chapter approved, with a unit of Wraith Blades, played against Joe, who I playtest against every single week. He did not see this list coming because I literally dropped it on the table when I was like, playing this today. And he was like, what? And we actually matched in the tournament, wrecked him. Absolutely wrecked him with my Wraith Blades. He didn't even know what hit him. I just chewed up his entire Centurion Imperial Fist list. He just didn't know what to do. He was shooting at me in combat with his heavy bolters, and I was just like, mate, all day I take these bullets, all day. Got my shield like that. You ain't, you know, strong. So there we have it. Wraith Host, I like it. Sam said, good evening, mate. Done any painting? No. Did a little bit on the Grey Knights yesterday, but not much. What do you think about, Joaquin said, what do you think about the possible heretic Custodes coming out with Fabius Bile? I mean, I've not even had time to think about that, but would be cool though, wouldn't it? Let's be honest. Like big spikes on their head and stuff. Yeah, that'd be cool. I think it's cool. Razul, on that note, please don't forget to have Jack update on us on the Blood Angels in the podcast. Not trying to pester you. You are pestering now. You know, that's fine. I will. I'll be doing a question. I think we're recording the podcast tomorrow. So in the morning, I'm going to put out a post on Instagram at the Vanguard Tactics where you can post your questions. So make sure you get that on there because I'll probably forget. Okay, I'll probably forget. So here we go. What's next? JW, a quick question, Stephen. I know you don't like to speculate. You're going to ask me to speculate. I know it. But should I go at a unit of 9 Scout Bikers for my Scars, or would it be better to wait because there is no tournament scene right now? Mate, 9-man bike unit in White Scars, good way to go. Yeah, roll with that, mate. I thought you were going to ask me, like, what do you think Psychic Awakening Pariah is going to bring? And I'm going to be like, don't know. No clue. But yeah, get the reps in with the bikes, mate. I think they're good. Sam said, I tried to ask you the other day for a Genestealer advice. Can you give me an idea of Genestealer Cult? What is good in the army? Does Psychic Awakening help them much? Sam, we're covering Genestealer Cult tomorrow, okay? So, yeah, we're going to do that then. Wayne said, let's have a stare-off, Stephen. Nah, you'd lose. No chance. I'm like an ultra-competitive starer, okay? No, I would lose horribly because I've got a twitch in my eye, and you'd be like, Steve, you blinked. And I'd be like, no, it's just my twitch. It's not. Yeah, it's not my fault. It wasn't intentional. Yeah. And I've also realized I can do this really weird thing with my eye where I can just kind of like move it independently. So like this bit, I can move it in and out. I tried to do it the other side to see if I had dual control, but I don't. It's just on the right side. No. Crazy things, yeah. So JP at Wargaming, with the Vendread for the Salamanders, would you take 3? And what loadout? I'm thinking all with twin las and missile launchers. See, I would go twin las fist. Yeah, probably go for that. Yeah. But I can see Chaplain Dreads working well in the Salamanders. They just kind of pair quite nicely. And I think you've got some sort of character Dreadnought. If you can take a character Dreadnought and he does something for your army, I think there's a Forgeworld one. I'm not sure. If he's a character, another 9 wounds, stick him in. It's not going to hurt. Yeah. Do you think the unit should be reduced to 0 to 1 in tandem with relic rules? Do you think relic units should be reduced to 0 to 1 in tandem with relic rules? No, I've got no problem with people playing like dual relic items, I don't think, because then they've still got to take a load of other stuff as well. And often those units aren't like incredible anyway. Like 1's normally good, but sometimes 2, not so much. Okay, so what's my build for Ultramarines? So still using, well, the last time I used Ultramarines was my SoCal list. Still really rate that list. It was list of the week just gone. Actually, we did an updated Ultramarines list, which is in the mentorship program. But the list that I was running was 2 Executioners and a Repulsor, 2 units of 3 Aggressors and a unit of 5 Aggressors, 3 units of Suppressors, 1 Thunderfire Cannon, a Lieutenant with Jump Pack, and then Calgar. That was it. So just loads of bullets from the Aggressors. Yeah. Should I take Warp Talons over Combi Plaz Terminators in my Black Legion list, running a big blob of Noise Marines to clear screens? Competitive mindset. Answer, please. Why Black Legion? Tell me that. Then I'll carry on and answer your question. Oh, I said 5 minutes and I've already gone over that. Apparently my Primarch was weak. Now I don't know, but Sanguinius does not look weak to me, okay? I think this is really what happened. And I may be right, and I may be wrong. So my version of events is that Sanguinius could foresee, I think he had the gift of foresight, am I right? So I think what happened was he knew that the Emperor was weak and that the Emperor lacked what he needed to do, and that was to say, look, Horus, I've had enough of this, and you're going to get sorted out here because it's not acceptable what you're doing. He's going to write him a stern letter and giving him a good talking to, okay? He's going to say, look, Horus, you see me here, I'm very disappointed in you, and that would have been it. But no, the Emperor did nothing, and Sanguinius thought, right, well, I'll tell you what, if I show him that Horus is prepared to kill me, then if I take that on the chin, like the hero that I am, that I'm willing to put other people in front of myself, then it will show the Emperor, who is strong enough to do this, that he needs to take some action and he needs to sort him out. And I think that's what happened. Just absolute hero in my eyes, just like man to man, just what a hero. So he's not weak, okay? It's disguised. He could have just, I'm not saying he could have took Horus, I'm not saying that, but he knew the Emperor could, and he needed the Emperor to step up and take action for what's right and what's wrong. And there's some words to live by there, I think. Yeah. So anyway, what do we get to? Yeah, we talked about Embray, not worth it. Thinking Chaplain Dread. I think Chaplain Dread's a good way to go with Sally's. Sanguinus is not dead. Do you think that 18 Aggressors with Guilliman efficient for Ultramarines? I have 9, and I'm trying to figure out if I should get any more. Test it. Test it before you buy it. Okay, get some models down on the table, test it, run it, proxy it, get it on the table, play test it, go first, go second against your hardest and your best matchups. See how it goes, see if you need it, and then find out the number that is efficient to do the job before you sacrifice too much. Go for more aggressors, you won't have enough ranged options, yeah? So find out that sweet spot. Glad you think about the designating a sanguinary ancient with the standard sacrifice as my warlord. Yeah, I think that's not a problem. Give him I like the warlord trait that makes everyone fearless, so I think that's all right. But I think there's probably the sanguinor does that also, and it's probably better to make him the warlord because he's a bit more durable in case anyone's took what's it called? Can't think off the top of my head. Old school where they've got to kill the warlord. So sanguinor is just a bit of a beast to take down than that ancient, but still an okay option. Could I use Termes in your JK list replacing the strike squad if I have the loadout? Yeah, definitely can. To be honest, I looked at all the options. There's no real bad loadout. They're all good. Maybe apart from the swords. I feel like you go falchions or halberds and maybe a couple of staves in there. But yeah, either one of those are good options. Sanguinus was a good, strong guy, and I don't even collect Blood Angel scars through and through when it comes to I respect Sanguinus. Nice. Black Legion, because that's what all my models are painted as theirs. That's what I've played for 14 years. Or Lumberjack, you wanted my competitive answer, and I don't believe that you can just add some paint to them. You know, I've got some Black Legion Terminators over there, but I'm probably going to repaint them to have some red on them and run them as red butchers. Yeah, even if it's just some red shoulder pads. Yeah, and maybe some red faces. 2 big red shoulder pads, corn coloured, would be, you know, they're just like sort of that's enough. Or maybe some yellow stripes, make them Iron Warriors with a bit of silver on. That'd be fine. So yeah, don't ever, you know, and no one's going to care really. Unless they're that guy who's like, oh, well, actually, you painted them Black Legion in blah, blah, blah. No, mate. Don't be like that. Just, yeah, test some stuff out. If you're running Noise Marines, test them all as Emperor's Children. See how you get on. I think that's a better way to go. Wayne, even the Silent King knew Sanguinus was the best of them all. Yeah, I'm not sure who the Silent King is, but there we have it. Yeah, I'm sure he did. He knows it. That king who doesn't talk much. Yeah, Shadow Swords with Tank Ace viable for competitive play. I don't know what a Shadow Sword is in terms of its stat profile. It's been a while since I've seen one, so I can't give you an honest answer on that. Don't you say talk about our Hawk Boy's previous army can't paint red and gold at the moment? Don't you say talk about our Hawk Boy previous army and can't paint the red gold at the moment? With ranged units, do you like for Ultramarines that are not repulsors? Suppressors, I think, are really good for Ultramarines. Right, okay, I've managed to catch up with all the questions. That's been 50 minutes, the longest episode ever. So, guys, I'm going to call that there, and I hope you all have a lovely Saturday afternoon. And, yeah. What did I just say? Saturday? Sunday afternoon. I'm losing track of days. And I'll see you tomorrow on day 28. 28 days, like a whole month. Wow. Can't believe I've actually done this every day for a month. I've surprised myself. Right, take care, guys, and I'll see you all tomorrow. So make sure if you're new to this channel, please subscribe. It really means a lot to me. See you later.